Jones
and
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
keep on listening.
I don't know if these guys are that regular.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. It's Friday, February 14th, 2020. I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at aaronmontgomery.info. Today, it's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day, Terry.
Happy
We're going to
Valentine's
be
Day.
talking about what you talk about on Valentine's Day is love.
We are indeed.
Not just the love that you and I have for each other, but specifically, we're going to talk about how to make our customers love you. So what things can we do to get your customers to love you even more than they already do? So excited to talk about that today, but we also have a couple of guests today. So there's some really cool stuff coming up here. We're going to talk to Jay Bassell. We're going to talk to Tom Rowan. And so lots of great stuff on tap for today, Terry. But before we do that, let's also talk about upcoming DAX here.
Absolutely.
Show coming up. Right around the corner, isn't it?
I'm going to Nashville this afternoon. I'm spending my Valentine's with my friends at American Airlines, going to Nashville to teach class this weekend. But so then next week we're going to be in Kansas City. Let's fingers crossed for some nice weather. But we have to go about 12 minutes from the airport to the hotel, and that'll be about our extent of being outside in the weather. But you and I are hosting a panel each day on Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
And so Friday, the panel, I believe, is at I've forgotten. It's 3:00. 3.
Yeah, like 3 or 3:30. I guess I should probably pull that up, but so it's in the afternoon. It's going to be over at the Decorated Apparel Showcase, which is the stage they have set up there. I'm not sure if it's a stage specifically, but it's a seating area. There'll be lots of presentations going on over there throughout the day. So it's the Decorated Apparel Showcase. It's on the actual show floor there in Kansas City. It will be over there set up. And again, like Terry said, I believe it's about 3:30.
On Friday, we're doing digital decorating, and we'll have 4 panelists, and it'll be an Ask the Experts opportunity. And then we'll do it again on Saturday, 1 to 2:30. And that one's going to be a couple of embroidery folks, a couple of screen printing folks. So, and of course, Aaron, you and I will be there available to answer questions as well and pose questions to the panelists. So first time for DAX, and this is DAX year, 23, 2022?
Yeah, 22 or 23. Yeah, I think you're right.
And as far as I know, the first time they've had a panel, and of course it's free for anybody that wants to participate. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, super excited about it. So on Friday, working on the guests here, the experts, but we're going to have Jenna Sackett from Stalls there. We're also going to have Matt Basallo from the Rhinestone World as one of the experts. I've got confirmation that we've got Mick Murray. Forgetting his last name right now, with Caesar. We were offered Joe Piazza as well, but
Hollywood Joe.
Yeah. I'm like, well, we've had Joe. Brett's a really smart guy too, so let's spread the love, so to speak. And
Joe's the kind of guy, he's an actor, so he'd stand up with his microphone, walk to the front of the stage, and that'd be it. Everybody else would just wait for him to wrap it up.
Take off his shirt or do something like that, and just be over. So, so we're efforting on one more spot. I've got a few emails out specifically looking to get Joseph from the Magic Touch is who I'm waiting to hear back from there. Right. So Joseph, if you're listening in, please get back with me. I appreciate that.
And on Saturday, we have Brian Lane, who's a long time screen printer. He's a sales manager at over with Lawson right now. Mm-hmm. And Aaron, just before we went on the air, got an email from someone, another person that we're talking to, and he's supposed to let me know later today. So we'll have a couple of screen printers, and then of course you guys,
Christine Shreve and Eric Campbell, representing the embroidery side and all things really. Christine's got a wide range so she can answer sublimation questions and all sorts of stuff. And same with Eric. He is Batman. And bring your embroidery questions, bring your digitizing questions, bring your e-commerce questions, bring your all sorts of questions. In fact, so In fact, I wanted to throw out there right now here, Terry, just for all of the regulators that are listening in live right now, if you have specific questions, start sending them to us now. You can.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Put them in the comments. We'll get them answered. So we'll see how technology goes. Doing this from a show floor is always a little entertaining, but we're going to have wireless mics and the whole setup. And the goal is to actually stream this live right here on our Facebook page as well. So, but go ahead and start sending us those questions that you've always wanted to ask. Ask the expert is what this is all about. And we'll start getting those together and ask them and all that stuff. So couple of, good comments here. Christine says, if Eric is Batman, does that make me Catwoman? And Christine, if you would like to be Catwoman, we are totally totally good with that. You get to be whatever you want, Christine, because you are an expert for sure. One other comment, Eric, here real quick about Joe. And Todd mentioned that since it was required, Joe did pass. He did not want to offend anybody by not taking off his shirt because that seems to be his thing. So, and Todd says, I was thinking Wonder Woman, Christine. So
there you go.
And there we go. And Brian says, I will be Alfred. So we've got all the bases covered here, Terry. This is good.
Well, see, Christine, she can get, she's got that gold thread, I'm sure, that she could make the rope with. So
there you go. There you go. So, some gold thread. I'm sure they've got that there at Enmart. So there. So we're really excited about this. We're pretty excited to be part of this. We really want to say thanks to the folks over at DAX. Scott and Margie have been super supportive of this and of that program, of the decorators community in general. In fact, they've gone ahead and put an extra booth space in between ours and Corel Trainer. That is the Educators Lounge. And so Clay and the decorators community and ourselves are kind of going to make sure that all the stuff is there so people can come in and hang out. But we're really looking forward to having everybody hanging out and just having great conversations. I was just looking at a sign I've got posted over to the right of me here, and it says, poor minds talk about people, average minds talk about events, great minds talk about ideas. So I am super excited to have an opportunity to spend 2-3 days in Kansas City talking about ideas and just how do we continue to grow our industry and grow ourselves and all that stuff. So booth 405 is where we will be when we're not on the expo, the apparel expo panel. So pretty excited.
Aaron, I got an email from someone just this past week, and he was saying, so now that you can sublimate on 100% cotton, and I said, okay, let me stop you right there. And he had mentioned he's coming to the DAX show, and I said, you need to come down and sit down with us in booth 405 at the DAX show, and we're gonna explain the realities of sublimation and what your options really are out there. There's a ton of misinformation. I think I mentioned this before. I just wrote an article for Impressions Magazine that talks about misinformation on the internet specifically about direct-to-garment printing. But we're gonna try to get rid of some of that in the garment creators community. So
yep, totally. Yeah, it's that's what it's all about for sure, Terry. Is like I said, just getting people on the right track, sharing abundance, spreading all of that knowledge. So really good stuff. All right, Terry. Well, the other thing that I wanted to get to here real quick, before we get Jay in here and some other things, we got to take care of our sponsors as well. They got some great stuff coming up over there at the Impressions Expo. It's dad joke time. So Christine, this is where you turn off your volume for about 5 minutes here. And, and real quick though, Lisa Shaw says Mythbusters. So
yes,
Terry.
That sounds
me. Are you Jamie or are you what's the other guy's name? Why can't I? Adam, thank you.
Which one's the bald guy?
I think they're both. Anyhow, Adam Savage. Yep, there we go. So I think I get to be Adam. You can be Jamie. You got to grow a mustache like Jay, though.
I could do that.
Okay. All right. All right. So dad joke time. Here we go. Unless you have one, Terry.
I don't.
Okay. You got grandkids there. I thought maybe.
I know.
You might not be old enough for
I have to tell you, last week when I wasn't on the show, my daughter listened and she said, how can they do a dad joke if you're not there?
I'm a dad. It's okay.
That's what I said. Aaron's a dad.
So here we go. This is actually off of the sign at the equipment rental store up the street. So my son and I really enjoy those. And so here it is. Don't trust atoms. They make everything up. All right, there we go. Todd, I've got one. So go ahead, Todd, bring it. And Terry, we'll let you head into the Impressions Expo ad here, but we'll get Todd's dad joke right before we get to Impressions. So
all right, are we queuing that up?
We're getting ready to get there, but yeah, before we dive in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. If you are listening to the podcast version, we would appreciate you sharing with your friends so they can become regulators also. We would love and appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever it is you're listening to the show right now. We are always looking for new guests. If you or anyone you know would like to join us, you can go to calendly.com/2, the number 2 regular guys, and suggest your show ideas. If you're watching us live right now, join in with your comments and questions and reach out to all your industry friends and have them join us right now as well.
And bring those dad jokes. In fact, Todd is queuing his up. So right after we hear from Impressions.
Is Todd trying to think of one? Is it?
I think that might be happening. But Eric, real quick, let's just hear a word from our platinum sponsor, Impressions Expo, and then we'll come back and keep going. What is Impressions Expo? Impressions Expo, formerly known as ISS, is the premier trade show dedicated to the imprinted and decorated apparel industry. They have 5 shows that are produced annually in each region of the United States, including Long Beach, California, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Orlando, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and cap off the year at Fort Worth, Texas. Each of those 5 annual shows also feature over 30 seminars and hands-on workshops in categories such as screen printing, embroidery, digitizing, digital decorating, and much, much more. Visit impressionsexpo.com for more details, and while there, use the promo code RegularGuysIE for a free expo pass. Again, make sure you visit impressionsexpo.com to get more details. And the Two Regular Guys look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Well, thanks again to the folks at Impressions Expo, and we'll be seeing them in Atlantic City next month, and for their second largest show, and always a great event. Usually a little chilly right there in Atlantic City, but we'll be fingers crossed on that one as well, just like Kansas City. Aaron, I don't know if our listeners can hear you or not, but I cannot.
Well, if you mute your microphone, that stuff will happen. So there we go. I'm just talking along here.
I should have just been talking over, like it's dubbed over the conversation, slightly off sync.
What I was saying is that the Impressions Expo out there, Atlantic City, though sometimes you do get a little weather there in Atlantic City, it's all inside. So yeah, just
plus the casinos are all interlocked, so you don't even have to go outside there either.
yeah, for sure. So the dad jokes are rolling in, so I appreciate all that. I think we will leave that for the comments. So if you are listening to the podcast version of this, make sure you get over to facebook.com/2 regular guys. That's the number 2 regular guys, and check that out and get in on the wonderful dad jokes. Yeah, I see at least 3 good ones in there. Todd has his, Heidi, I love yours, and Sheila checking in on the YouTube channel. Terry has got a great dad joke for us too. So let's get to our friend Jay Bassell here, Terry. And,
all right, Eric, if you could bring him in for us.
Jay, welcome in, sir. And I'm sure you've got dad jokes too, but
you know what? I have some, but even funnier than that was when you were muted. I thought the same thing Terry thought of, and I thought, how funny would it have been if Terry all of a sudden goes, "Esta es la historia de mi amiga Ángel. Vive con su no socio Ricardo. Es un piso pequeño." That would have just crushed it. Terry.
All right. That is.
Oh.
Hey, Terry, we'll have to get Bill Strange in here, and we'll have a script, and then
and Bill could dub it in Portuguese. So
Portuguese, Spanish, whatever.
Right.
I was dying. I was like, because I thought the exact same thing, and I saw Terry look like, I saw the thought go right across his eye.
Right in my head, exactly.
Too funny. All right,
well, good morning. Happy Valentine's. Thanks, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. Great to see you both.
Great to see you, sir. So the new branding product has launched.
It is
awesome stuff. Welcome into the show. Let's just talk about that real quick.
Yeah, Jay, give us a quick description of what this new branding book's all about.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Easy. Think of it as a 50-page instruction manual for how to guide yourself and your team through a marketing exercise that when you are done, all of your branding and marketing will be purpose-driven. It will be engaging so that the right audience falls in love with you emotionally, hashtag Valentine's Day, and is drawn into you. So like it's a pull, not a push. And it's all about the touch points from the very, very, very beginning at the top of the funnel when you don't even know people are checking you out, but they are, all the way through the sales cycle, customer service cycle, shipping and delivery, and then even thinking through things like an advocacy or what I would call like how do I help my customers tell my story in a right way that's engaging? So it's even like helping to teach your clients how to brag about you. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of work, as you both know.
Yeah.
Jay, you and I were at a customer location, Printed Mint, here in Phoenix earlier this week.
Wow.
And gosh, I was thinking about your book when we were there because they know how to brand their product, how to brand their image. And having been there, I think about all the companies that you walk into and there is no brand. It's machines, it's people standing there printing shirts or whatever. So there are so many people listening right now who don't even know they need this product, but they do.
I know. Thank you, Terry. I agree 100%. Obviously, I'm a little emotionally connected to this project. It's about a year of my life and all of the spare time that I don't have.
Exactly.
I thought the exact same thing. And the coolest thing about that, when we did that little shop tour, was the internal branding. It was, I'm totally addicted to this word, manifesto. I just love the way it sounds. I love what it means. And it's all about the internal story and the inward facing what we stand for moment. And they had it like everywhere.
Yeah.
And you could tell their folks were people that were happy to be there. They had, some reinforcing banners of what we're about, what our culture is about. Did you see the kudos board in the break room?
I did, and we didn't talk about it there, but it was super cool.
Right? I was like, I took pictures of it. I was like looking around going, is he looking? I was like snapping photos because I was like, this guy gets it. Their company is going on just such a great growth trajectory. And obviously it's because they've taken the time to get all of that alignment internally and externally. And whether they have the instruction manual or not, I can tell that they've got purpose-driven branding. And that's what this book, that's what your style guide really is all about. So thank you.
Speaking of that, Jay, I mean, you're talking about that. I mean, in the book, you've got a proven formula. Can you tell us just a little bit about that formula that you're giving people that they can, like I said, just take and run with? Very little investment here.
No, thanks, Aaron. I can, and it's really, I wanted something that was going to be like a very concise instruction guide, like a manual to say, step 1, do this. Step 2, ask yourself these questions. Step 3, and work through it because. First of all, it's evolving. You're always growing. Your business isn't the same today as when you started. Just like, I didn't used to have this great mustache, but now I do.
Terry used to want more hair.
Terry,
I had more hair here.
Well, didn't we all? So, but to your point, the formula was, okay, if I were trying to just simplify this down and all the experience that I've had and all the mistakes I've made, what could I do to really tweak this formula and make it simple? So I have 9 steps. It never starts with your logo. That's the 3rd step. And Terry and I joke about this all the time. Don't fast forward. Don't go all in on your logo day one, as most entrepreneurs do, because that's not the first step. So you go through your story, your style, then your logo, your theme, your voice, your delivery. Then we walk through all of the touch points, then your advocates, which I kind of hinted to, and then a review. And I was lucky enough, and those are the 9 steps. And I'm happy to publish that for people who want to at least see that. That's easy, something I could give everybody, because at least it'll get them thinking about this. Okay, what could I do better with any of these steps? And as you work on this, you're going to have you're just going to have a better outward facing and inward facing connection with everyone you come in contact with.
Yeah, that's huge. Where, like you said, that connection point is so important, and if it's not clear to you, then it's certainly not going to be
absolutely
clear.
Absolutely. I was able to present this both at the ASI show in Orlando, as well as the Impressions Expo in Long Beach. Not the whole style guide, but just this concept of branding guides and style guides, what they mean, how to use them, and how important they are for our decorated apparel people. Because obviously we need it for us, but I positioned it like this. I mean, if Aaron and Terry and Eric had this, they would then have evidence and proof that as they go meet with clients, this is something that you've mastered. This is a differentiator for you and your business. You could go into another business and say, well, show me your style guide. What does your style guide say? And they'd just be like, what?
Well, and Jay, the beauty of this is, you're going to sit down with your junior yellow legal pad and a pen and go, okay, who am I? What? But you've laid it out. Just do the work. Just follow the steps.
I've
fill
got
it out,
at least,
and you're there.
Thank you, Terry. For every question, for every style point, for every formula point, I have a page full of questions to ask, so that you can literally kind of wrestle with it a bit and develop your why. Develop, okay, what is my personality, and how does that wash into my business? Am I focused on that? And then talk about your logo and your symbols and your icons and all of the themes. But you can't really build on those effectively until you really have that why nailed down, and your purpose and your story. And I know that that's a hot topic, and it has been for a few years, but this leads into so many great things. And so the response has been awesome so far. A lot of great feedback. In fact, your guest that's coming up, Tom Rowan, was a fan who jumped on early, and he has started to share this with his own team. And he was like, okay, guys, we got to sit down and meet. Yeah, there's a few things on here that are going to make a big difference for our business. So I was excited to get that feedback from Tom.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Cool. Well, we'll ping Tom on that a little bit later as well. So, Jay, where we've been popping a few links and stuff up here on those folks that are.
I did see that. Thank you.
But where, for the podcast listeners, where can people find out more about this and sign up to be part of the community, or just buy this style guide?
So that's a really great point, Aaron. It's not everybody's going to jump in and say, okay, I've got $199. I'm ready to fire this off. Let's buy it. I hope you do. But I still want to create a community. I want to create this as an apparel decoration, promotional product. I don't care if you're doing signs, vinyl, laser, awards. I think that we're all like, misfits on the island of misfit toys, as I often say, and we belong. We're like dysfunctional cousins, and we should all, work on this together, because Terry's going to have a great perspective. Aaron's going to have a great perspective. E-Rich is going to have a great perspective, and we can pull all of these things together and be better together. And I just think this is a guide that'll do it. So, long way to say, visit me, check it out at jaybussell.com, Jay. My last name is spelled B as in boy, USSELLE. So a lot of letters, BUSSELLE.com.
Yeah. Once you type it a few times, though, it's natural. It's easy. It rolls off
2 S's, like you sell a bus sell. It's pretty simple.
Perfect. All right. A couple quick comments before we let you go here. So Brian from Brilliance said, looking at the style guide I just purchased, well written, nicely laid out. I look forward to reading it in more detail. I always like to see when someone makes a plan for success.
I love that statement. And thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Fantastic news. I tried to write this in a way that was more like you could hear me talking through it, rather than try to impress you with my amazing literary prose. I realized that's not me. I'm just going to keep it simpler. And really, I got to credit you guys and thank you again. This was the genesis. This show, you two regular guys podcast, about a year ago and some months, I don't even remember now, about 15 months ago, we started talking about this concept.
Right.
And I'm also going to give a shout out to Mark Coudray, and I'm also going to give a shout out to Marshall Atkinson and Tom Round. These were people in the beginning that were like, dude, I think you're onto something. This might be a really cool tool because it's not overwhelming. I specifically tried to condense it down and keep it tight and simple. And I'm not trying to impress people with what I know. I'm trying to share what has not worked, as well as what has worked with myself, the businesses I've worked with, and the thousands of customers that I've taught over the years. And so really this is, it's exciting for me. I hope like people like Brian enjoy it. And I had 2 people who purchased it that have already commented and given me some wonderful warm feedback. One of them caught a small typo, and I think I need to send people like a virtual taco if they catch anything like that. What do you guys think?
I think a virtual taco is a great idea.
A virtual taco? I think so too. And you know what? Because I can't send socks to everybody, but like my mom who loves me so much. So have this visual floating. For those of you listening right now, you cannot imagine what's going on.
Yes, tacos, talk, baby. All right,
Well,
couple more quick comments here. Cheryl says, Jay, you need to come to the Sublimation Summit. So
Great.
Invite there.
I love it. Thanks for the invite. Can't wait.
Yeah. And then Brian again says, if it leads you to do one thing, it will easily pay for itself.
Exactly.
Brian,
right.
well said. Thank you. 100% agree.
Perfect stuff there. And then skipping down a little bit, Todd says, what's the taco to content ratio?
Todd, you sneaky man, you. Well, it's about a 3 to 1. It's about 3 to 1.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, Jay, real quick, the other thing I want to make sure people understand, today is Valentine's Day. Tomorrow is the 15th. So the launch, the $100 off discount actually is good only through tomorrow.
That's true.
At this point. So I made, poke you in the side or something, but you got to get out there and get it purchased today. You use the code launch. It'll get you $100 off. And so, it seems like a no-brainer, right?
Well, listen, it is. Let me conclude with this. Because again, I want to thank you. This is also, I shared this on Facebook. You guys maybe saw this, maybe you read it, maybe you didn't. In full transparency, I am sharing the proceeds of this book with the 2 regular guys. I want you to know as a regulator that this is an amazing way and a simple way for you to build your business and support these 3. These 2 knuckleheads have done more for this business than we give them credit. And I just appreciate you guys showing up every week. Your guests are phenomenal, but the fact that you do this every week and neither of your companies pay for this, this is all, it's like volunteer time. I mean, I know you have supporters and I know you get, sponsors and whatnot, but you guys do such a great job. So if this is a way for other people to build their business and help you guys and keep this show a rolling, then I'm all about that.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jay.
I appreciate that, Jay.
Yeah, definitely.
You're welcome.
Yeah, 8 years.
Thank you.
Wouldn't be possible without people like Jay. So thank you so much, sir.
Love it.
Jay, I expect to see you wearing those socks in about a week when we're all at ThreadX here in Scottsdale.
Absolutely. I can't wait to connect with all of my industry friends. I'm thinking to go, since we're in Arizona and we'll be in Scottsdale, I'm going to definitely be wearing shorts, flip-flops, and these socks.
Oh my God. I will have my camera ready.
Speaking of dad jokes.
I'm a living dad joke. Wait, that could come across the wrong way. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Jay, thank you so much. Guys,
Pleasure.
check it out. Guys,
you're the best.
Your Style Guide. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jay. Awesome.
Cool. Good stuff, Terry. Well, again, everybody go check it out. Take advantage of that opportunity to save yourself $100. And as Brian said, if you can do one thing, this will pay for itself. It is such a tool. I mean, it is just like you said, if you're sitting there with your junior yellow legal pad or whatever you've got, and you're just kind of starting from blank going, what's my brand? That could be months, if not never happen kind of thing.
Exactly.
And when you've got this tool right there, it's like, okay, I've got the roadmap. I've got the keys. Let's dive into this, ask the questions. Like you said, wrestle with a few things, figure some things out, come up with your brand. And then that gives your potential customers that connection point. And
in today's business world, you've got to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah. So. It's what's your differentiator is what Jay said. And I think that's a really good point. So
Well, Aaron, we're halfway through our show and we haven't actually talked about what we were going to talk about.
I know.
But hey, as you said, it's Valentine's Day. Let's talk about love. More specifically,
let's talk about love.
Yeah, how do we woo our customers into loving us and loving our businesses? I'll let you start out. You made us a list to start with. I don't know how far we'll get into it, but
yeah, we'll dive into it as much as we can, and we'll see if we may end up with some bonus content today. So all good stuff. All right, Terry. So again, that connection and all of that kind of stuff is super important. And to me, this segues really nicely, actually, because I think a real key point for businesses is they need to have a foundation. You can't decide to build your business, can't decide to build a house and just throw it up wherever. You have to put some foundations into the ground, and that is things like having a clear why. Going through your style guide and having that clarity of what it is that I'm doing, why I get up every day, why I am printing shirts, why I'm doing sublimation, whatever it may be. Having that clear why. The other part of your foundation is understanding what your costs are, and really kind of, because the reason why understanding what your costs are is important to getting our customers to love us is if we don't understand what our costs are, we won't be around long enough to have our customers love us. Secondly, we're going to be, not sure of what our value is. So we're going to undersell ourselves. We're going to undercut. We're going to be the ones racing to the bottom, which if the only differentiator you have is your price, you're not going to have any customers that love you, because as soon as somebody decides to sell it for 5 cents cheaper than you, they're going to go love somebody else. Right. And knowing our costs and knowing, having those foundation pieces and being true to ourselves gives us an opportunity to be honest earlier. There are going to be projects that come across your desk or that come to you that just are not a right fit for you. And where most people get into trouble is they go, well, I'm starting up, or I need the business or whatever. And they take the job that's not really for them and they try to make it work. And then they fail at it. And then they have an upset customer, and that person tells 5 more people. And now all of a sudden you're the exact opposite of love. You're loathed. And, because you didn't have that foundation. You didn't know what your true value was. You didn't know why you're doing it. It's always better to be honest early. Tell them, this won't work out. Maybe have them give some sort of help them out, though. I mean, you still want to help that person that you can't help with that job. And that's going to build love. They're going to go, oh yeah, you know what? I remember that Terry, he couldn't do that job for me, but instead of screwing me over and trying to, he gave me a suggestion and I was able to get that done. And so now that I know who Terry is better, now I know that I can go to Terry and go, hey, I do have this job. Can you help me with that? And you can go, yes, cool. And now you've built that love, you've built that trust. So that's the first one.
Aaron, along those lines too, is the more you do what you're good at, the more efficient you're going to be, the better your costs are going to be. I remember when I was in Kansas City, we were doing $13.5 million in screen printing. Our average order size was 72 pieces. And so the sales department decided, hey, we need to go out and get some really big 10,000 piece runs. Well, my guys would trip over themselves trying to run 10,000 pieces. They sort of you would think it'd be the easiest transition in the world, but they were so focused on fast setup, print those 72 pieces, fast tear down, fast setup again, and that was our niche. And once we got outside of that niche, it was a difficult task. And you think about it and think, well, why is that? But once you can create that niche for your business, this is what we do, and this is what we do well. That's when you're making money and being efficient. And one more real quick point, Aaron, when you talked about knowing your costs, when I first started, armed with my degree in journalism, I accidentally became a screen printer. So I based my pricing on, I don't know, I think I read it in Impressions magazine. Here's what you should charge, and it didn't take me very long to realize that I was undercharging for most everything I was doing. And I remember talking to a customer, and he said, well, Terry, these prices are quite a bit higher than what we've been paying you. And I said, well, here's the deal. And I remember his name was Jim Prouty. I said, Jim, I got to make a living too. And he goes, well, I respect that. Okay. And so, hey, did I lose some customers because I was racing to the bottom against my competitors to try to scoop up business? I did. But once I got to that level where here's my price, I can make this much money on this order, then I was right with the world.
For sure. All right, Terry. Well, let's get a couple of these comments here because there's some good ones. Terry from CMO Screen Supply, and Eric, if you can find that one up, it's up there a little bit. Thank you. I don't call my folks customers. I call them extended family members and make them feel that way. We do things together on our off time, quote unquote off time, if they are close, and in some will come a few hours to go racing, golfing, firing range. This also includes her UPS and FedEx drivers. So it's a family, and it's a
cool
family. And again, if you don't know who you are and you don't know, what you need and what value you bring to the table, you won't be able to make those connections to build that extended family. So let's see here. Christine says, being honest is so huge. I've had a lot of success with telling people we can't do what you want, but here's someone who can. A lot of those people come back to us later. Absolutely. Perfect. And then Jan says, I had this conversation yesterday. Agreed. Don't stay on one foot with a customer that will be chopping it off for a better offer. And then Dot Tone Dan Campbell, good to see Dan checking in here, says, yep, same thing with separation business. You can be the greatest separator with very competitive prices. And the moment someone comes in with a lower price, those are the new best separators ever. It's not about just quality. There is no real loyalty in business. It's okay though. I've come to get comfortable with that idea. And the reason that Dan has been so successful over the years getting comfortable with that idea is that Dan is a master of his craft. And so people recognize that I can go get an separation, or I can go to Dan and get the best separation.
Right.
I mean, that's his differentiator, and I love it. Let's see here. One more from Jan here, and then we'll get on to point number 2, Terry, because I'm looking forward to this part of it. Hardest lesson for a new business. And yes, have a price list before you open your doors. Know what cost is to stay in business. Yeah, Todd and I in our success group, the very first part of the 5 Keys series we did was knowing your costs. What does it cost per hour just to have your doors open? And what's your overhead?
In other words, you have to do the work. You've got to do the work to figure these things out. This is what you're doing on Sunday morning with your yellow junior legal pad.
For sure.
And your Excel spreadsheet.
Exactly.
We're spreadsheet nerds here.
Yeah, data hipsters. We're data hipsters, Terry, not spreadsheet nerds. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah. Actually, one more comment. Sorry, because this one stuck out to me. Cindy says, I just now had a new customer walk in. She was referred to me from another embroidery shop that can't get to her items. Networking, but again, knowing where your family is, and that guy up the street doesn't have to just be the hated competitor. That the guy up the street can be a partner, and can raise each other up. So great stuff there. All right, Terry. So sorry to kind of ramble on, but we do want to get through this before we get to Tom here in just a moment. The second way that you can get your customers to love you more is to understand how you sell. And this point, when I think of this point, actually, Terry, I actually visualize you. Yeah. And so to tell us a little bit about how you sell. I mean, we tease about you being a predatory salesman, right? But that's certainly the opposite of what you are. So what's your selling method, Terry?
Well, first of all, I don't like being a salesperson. Yes. So I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. I'm terrible at it too. So yes,
the folks who want you to call 5 times a day or call every day and say, hey, you're ready to buy. I'm not that person. I never will be that person. And sometimes when I work places, different companies, it's hard for people to appreciate that. But I'm like, here's the way I do it, and basically it's all about relationships, Aaron, and you know that it's finding out what is it that you want to accomplish. For instance, selling direct-to-garment printers. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your vision. What is it that you want to accomplish? I've said to people before, this is not the technology that to accomplish that task. You would be making a mistake by going into direct-to-garment to do this task. My example is somebody called me up and said, "How many machines do I need to buy?" Sales rep, what? How many machines to do 3,000 garments a month? And I said, "You're talking about 3,000 different graphics, right?" No, it's the same graphic every single month. Then you don't need any direct-to-garment printers. That would be a waste of your time and waste of your money. But again, it's about relationships. It's and it's down the road relationships, and it's about education, Aaron, and as I was saying earlier in the show, there's so much misinformation out there in the world that I spend a lot of time talking to people about, okay, well, I understand someone told you that, but here are the facts, and here's why you need to know this. And I have people come, years later. Back when you and I were with US Screen and the T-Jet 3 came out, I had somebody say this to me here just a couple of years ago. He goes, "You pulled me aside at a trade show because I was trying to hand you a credit card, and you said, 'Hey, listen, let me give you a call in a couple of months once we work some kinks out on this machine.'" And he said, "I never ever forgot that." And so when I saw that you were selling these Epson direct-to-garment printers, I thought, this is who I want to buy from, because this is the guy who would not take my credit card from me at a trade show.
Yeah.
So
much to the horror of many a business owner.
Well,
hey,
when you've been at it as long as I have, you kind of do it your own way, or
absolutely,
or whatever.
That's the way that it's successful, though. And I think, again, you're building your brand, you're building the customers that love you. This is all going to build up. There's no magic bullets to any of these things. It's all about doing the right thing. You're a wonderful educator, so you're willing to take the time and sit and listen to their story, learn about their business, try to get as much information about them, as opposed to you being the one that's talking the whole time. Well, here's the features and benefits of my machine, or here's why you should buy your shirts from me, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, selling is all about listening. You're exactly right.
Yeah, perfect. So good stuff there. Eric, I wanted to go back up to a comment that Justin had earlier, and it was more about what we're talking about with number one, but it does fit into number two here as well. It says, not only building relationships with customers, when you refer them to other businesses in their area that can help them out, you build that relationship with your nearby competitors. Could be valuable. Again, this is, getting your customers to love you is all about the relationships. It's all about building those relationships, but it doesn't just have to be with the customers. It's with the other people involved. It's your vendors. It's the competitors, quote unquote. It's, the educators. It's somebody like Terry. It's getting to know and having a relationship with somebody like Eric and Christine and Jay and all these other stuff. So, I think that's a really good point here. So let's see here. Michelle says 51-49 rule, giving them at least 51% value of the relationship. I love that. They just give them. Yep, exactly. I heard this, and this was more about being in a marriage, but I think it applies to being in business too, is that, you think that being in a marriage is a two-way street. It's a 50-50 kind of relationship, but that means that you're only giving your all 50% of the time, and that the other person's supposed to pick up the slack. And I think this was from Jack Canfield, actually. He said it should be 100-100 relationship. You're giving your all 100% of the time. They're giving their all 100% of the time. And it works out. And I think that's what you need to do with your customers, is give them that, I'm going to do everything that I can to make your business better. So,
exactly.
Let's see here. Yeah, let's get Christine's here really quick. Education is so important. I talk about this all the time. Teach your customers why things are done the way they are, and educate people in the industry as well. There's so much inaccurate information out there. People don't always know who to trust. Well, I know.
Well, you know, Aaron, and I kind of alluded to this before. Not only somebody will say, you know, well, this company told me I need to do X, Y, Z. And not only do you need to come back and say, well, okay, I understand why they told you that, but here's the reason, and here's the reason it would be better to do it another way. And so there's no benefit in you saying, don't do it the way XYZ company said. The benefit is, okay, here's why they told you that, but here's a better way to accomplish that task.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Here's how I've done it with success and
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly right.
For sure. Okay. Terry, so we've got 2 more left and it is 10:45. So I think we're going to, if you don't mind, Terry, we'll kind of hit 3 real quick and then get into 4 and have more discussions on 4. Does that work for you?
Sure.
So 3 is just be customer centric in your policies. And I've written a couple of blog posts about this. That you can find over at my website, aaronmontgomery.info. One's transactional emails. And this actually came from, you shared this with me, Terry, as you had got an autoresponder email that was basically somebody screaming at their customers.
All caps.
Oh man, I felt really bad. Like, man, this poor guy had to get hurt real badly.
Yeah, this guy. Speaking of Valentine's Day, yeah, this guy had a broken heart. That's for sure.
He did. He did have a broken heart. I felt really bad for the poor guy. And so I talked about what our transactional emails are saying, the autoresponders, how we send out proofs, and how we kind of interact with our customers, and then also just me, Terry, my 100% belief, the way I've been successful throughout my entire career is being customer centric, being focused on your customers first, and then the other stuff seems to fall into place. So if you're sitting there worried about, am I making the profit margin that I have to make on every single job down to the smallest, instead of being focused on how happy are my customers,
right?
That you're going to very quickly find out that making that profit number is harder and harder. But if you're only focused on what's making my customers happy, you will be more profitable in the long run. Is my theory. So, and I wrote a blog about that as well. And so you can check that out. Terry, I know I said we'd just talk about 4, but if you have any points on that, I will.
Well, and again, as Jay and I were talking about, we were at Printed Mint with Chris Ellis, and just the enthusiasm he had talking about, every day we talk about how can we make sure that our customers have a great experience. And I tell you what, I was just so inspired to see somebody running a business and not sitting in a seminar room or sitting at ThreadX talking about the theory of it. He was actually standing in his shipping department, so excited about, what one more thing can we do to give our customers just an awesome experience? And that's what it's all about. It's just focus. You focus on that, and those customers are going to come. I mean, he basically says all of his customers come word of mouth from other people. Yeah. And that's people who are in love with you and your company.
Totally. And that's, the great part about that though, Terry, that I guess if you are the number side person, the one that's worried about the profit all the time, is if you actually step back from it and look at it, those customers that love you because of that don't care what the prices are.
Right.
They're not going to leave you over 5 cents.
Exactly.
They are in that relationship with you too. And so, if you've got to raise your prices a little bit, you had a relationship with Jim, I believe you said his name was, and he said, "Hey, Terry, I respect that. Let's move forward as customers." He could have easily gone to the guy up the street that was 5 cents cheaper, but did not. So, all right, let's get to number 4 here, because we want to make sure we get to Tom. Hopefully he's in the in the back end there. This is a little
Tom
bit
is not yet in the lobby, so
okay. All right. Well, we might not get to Tom, so we'll see. So number 4, Terry, was follow up. And what I mean by follow up is after you've made the sale, even after, you've kind of done the due diligence of, did you get everything, blah, blah, blah. There's a deeper follow up that I think needs to happen that doesn't happen for a lot of folks when you're selling, especially. Yeah, I mean, just our industry, I think because, it is one t-shirt or, 72 pieces and you're focused on efficiency and moving forward. But at the end of the day, we as humans are looking for 2 things when it comes to our relationships with other people. The first thing we want is attention. The second thing we want is approval. And so if you think about those 2 things in this context, think about follow-up from a perspective of, okay, what were those 72 shirts for? Terry, you guys were working with a lot of
college bookstores.
Mm-hmm. So, but the fact that they were doing these programs, do you know why exactly they were doing those programs? Do you know, like, for example, if you're doing shirts for a race, yes, ask them how the shirts worked out. That's fine. But really be focused on how was the event? How did things work for you? Were you able to reach your goals? Is there anything I can do next year to help you reach those goals? Nothing about the shirts, nothing about the product. Ask them about their event and then say, yeah, I saw
their experience.
I saw some pictures on Facebook of the race, or I saw some friends of mine shared this thing and it was really cool. Or, go to that race and support them and be there and cheer on the runners or whatever, just that follow-up beyond just, how are my shirts, the follow-up of how was your event? How are you? I'm giving you attention. I'm approving what you're doing.
Well, and let's be honest here. There's a reason that most people don't want to follow up after they take delivery of whatever product you've sold them. You don't want to hear bad news, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if there's bad news, that's exactly what you need to hear, because when that customer never comes back, then you could maybe resolve that by making a couple of those phone calls, asking again about their experience and maybe it's something as simple as, and I love this example from several years ago, where a bookstore said that, all of our people back in the warehouse, they don't want us buying from you guys. Well, why is that? Well, because they have to refold all your shirts because of our shelving. They have to refold them to have them fit on the shelves. And that's something you find out by picking up the phone and saying, hey, well, what was your experience like? Well, and what a simple thing to resolve for that one store to fold the shirts so they fit exactly on their shelves, so that all the people in the back aren't saying, hey, listen, if you buy from XYZ company instead, they fold the shirts the right way.
Yeah.
But those are the little things that, that can make a difference in a business relationship.
Totally. And I love that example that you're giving there, Terry, to go and talk to them. Like I said, it's because we don't want to hear the bad news, but guess what? You have to hear the bad news. You need that. That's actually, we all love to get that, oh my God, you were so awesome and things are great and we love you and everything is, love, love, love. And that's all wonderful. But if you don't get those haters, and this is great because we had Jay Bear on last week while you were sick there, Terry, and he specifically talked about this. The most important feedback you can get is from those haters, because like you said, now we know how to fix it. Fold the shirts different, do these other things. So really good stuff there. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. So I think Tom has made it. Terry, anything that we left out there on how to make our customers love us just a little bit more?
Well, I think every Valentine's Day from here on out, we should talk about our customers loving us and how we accomplish that task.
Excellent. All right. So pretty soon, every single show is going to be set. So this is great. It only took us 8 years to get there. Awesome. All right. Well, Terry, let's, speaking of love, another guy that we love. We've had a lot of love being shared here. We had Jay earlier, and another guy that we love here, Tom Rowan, is joining us to wrap up the show, hopefully shortly. There we go. Tom is founder of Envision Screen Printing and Embroidery and co-founder of Dimensional Brewing Company, and also part of this thing called Shirt Lab, which I hope you guys have all heard of. But welcome in, Tom.
Yes, thanks for having me.
All right, Tom. Hey, listen, today's show is all about love. So tell us real quick what it is you love about the apparel industry.
Gosh, I love everything about it. Number one, I love t-shirts. And like
Tom does hold the world record for wearing the most t-shirts at one time, for anybody who doesn't know that.
Yes. And you know, the last couple, actually, since I started, I've always loved the community. And I remember early on when I started, it was like, it wasn't quite what it is right.
Oh, I think we're losing Tom a little bit there. So
I'll finish his thought for him. No.
Is this where you got speaking Spanish, Terry?
Right.
All right. The internet gremlins have got Tom, so we'll hopefully get Tom back here in just a second. Eric, whenever he's back in, go ahead and pop him back in. But Terry, what do you love about the industry?
Well, you know, and I talk about this a lot when I do classes and seminars, that, you know, I always say, you know, the decorated apparel industry is like any other business. You know, you deal with employees, you deal with, you know, the order's due tomorrow and the shirts are supposed to be yellow and they came in lime green, and you deal with all that. But when I do my screen printing classes on day 2, we have this black shirt, and it has a 5-color simulated process print, and it's an eagle with flames coming out of the wings. And I've probably used that graphic for the last 12, 13, 14 years. And every time I set it up, which I'll be doing this Sunday, and I pull that last highlight white and I look at it and I go, man, that's cool. There aren't very many businesses you can be in that every day you can do something and go, that's super cool, man. Yeah. This is awesome. And you know, add to that, our customers want what we have to sell. I mean, we're not selling life insurance. Yeah, I've got to have life insurance, but man, I love that t-shirt. How about you, Aaron? What do you love about it?
Well, we've got Tom back here, so let's let Tom finish his thought, and then we'll go from there. Tom, welcome back.
I'm sorry, my connection's kind of crazy right now, so
no
if
worries.
you lose me, I guess I have to carry on, but we'll try to keep it in. So what I love right now about the industry is the community, and especially, you know, going to the trade shows and whatnot, and some of these, you know, events that have been happening the last couple of years, where it's really building this big community. And I think even beyond that, what you guys are doing with the podcast and then the Facebook groups, it's instead of competition, it's more of collaboration.
Yeah.
And everyone wanting to get the industry better by helping each other out. So I think that's been really awesome the last couple of years. And I'm really loving that part, that people are able to open themselves up, open their businesses, open their back doors, and say like, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what's working well for us. And other people can adopt that.
Yeah, for sure. So, Tom, you guys are certainly a big part of this community building effort that's going on. Let's talk about Shirt Lab here for a little bit. Tell us about the upcoming events and what you guys are excited about. And I want to hear all about it. It sounds like you guys got some really cool stuff coming.
Yes, we have 2 events this year. The first one is going to be June 6th in Chicago.
Cool.
And it's going to be called the Women's Nexus. So a little more focus on the women in the industry. And then the big one, we're moving it to a 2-day format. It's going to be October 2nd and 3rd in Dallas, Texas. So pretty excited for that. We've got a great lineup of speakers. The keynote at the Dallas Shirt Lab is going to be Jeffrey Gittimer, who is the king of sales. Yeah. And he actually started off in the industry. So pretty cool.
Oh, really? I did not know that. That's super cool. Yeah. Yeah.
He's good friends with Mark Coudray, and he was business partners with Richard Greaves.
Wow.
So
cool.
pretty exciting stuff.
Huh. Yeah, I remember when I first started in sales way back long time ago. He was a guy that I read and tried to find more information about and learned so much from. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Cool. So tell us a little bit more about the June event too, Tom, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so June event, it's going to be downtown Chicago. That one's going to be a little more intimate, where we're going to be limited to about 50 shops attending that one, and just a great lineup of speakers there. Both of our events start off with a networking party on the night before the event starts, and that's always a fun little mixer. Get to know people, get to build that community, and get it kind of started off right. And then we've got the full day of sales and marketing focused workshop, basically, where we're diving in. We've got the best experts, not only in the industry, but we bring in experts from outside the industry to share their knowledge, whether it's on Facebook, running Facebook ads, doing email marketing, setting up a sales team, just a lot of different things, and to, get that knowledge out there and help everyone grow.
Totally. That's awesome. In fact, Christine Shreve will be speaking there in Chicago, from what we hear. So that's awesome. Christine, a part-time host here on Two Regular Guys, quarterly.
And the originator of the term regulators.
Yeah, exactly. So good stuff. So Tom, where can people find out more?
Go to shirtlablive.com, and tickets actually go on sale tomorrow. We're going to have an early bird special. Anyone that's watching right now goes to shirtlablive.com.
Oh, no.
.com. That's what he was going to say.
Shirtlablive.com.
Shirtlablive.com.
Tom, put it in the comments there, or if you can get us. Yeah, so shirtlablive.com, and check out tomorrow for the early bird special. We'll get some more information up in the show notes and whatnot too, and in the comments here. So check that out. Get signed up for that. Terry, I think Tom
probably some ice on the lines out there in Iowa.
Yeah,
Tom's in Dubuque for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, so Tom actually pretty much hit the nail on the head of what I love about the industry too, and it is this community. It is this
right.
I just love the fact that it feels like everybody now. I remember when I first started, and this was not as long ago. I'm not trying to throw stones at you here, Terry, but I was in 1979. I was not in the industry quite yet. So for me, it was 2000 when I came to the industry, and it was certainly nice, and I certainly was welcomed by some really great people. I still have some great friendships that started way back when, but it definitely was a lot more closed off. It was, this guy's doing that. This is a competitor. This was, I remember some of the crap that Scott Fresner had to go through with the one guy. I can't even remember his name. I don't even want to say his name.
I remember who you're talking about.
Yeah. Stupidity of that competition and
right.
Why they had to throw stones. I was obviously on one side of it, so I didn't know what was happening on the other side of it. But anyhow, I just love that now it seems like companies that would have been mortal enemies or whatever now seem to be collaborating together and working together. And like Tom said, opening up their back doors and sharing the information. I mean, that was one of the reasons that Todd and I got our success group started. Is he said to me, I've been doing this for 12 years now. And when I started 12 years ago, I didn't have, there wasn't that information there. So I just want to be able to share what I learned over that 12 years to help people get to success faster. And, that obviously is what you and I have always been focused on here with Two Regular Guys, why we've created the decorators community to try to grow that. And so even though Tom says that, or was it Jay? I can't remember. Was saying, that we're doing this program. It is a labor of love, and it is something that we get as much out of as we give, and so that's what I love about the industry. There you go. How about that?
Yeah, perfect. That's awesome.
All right. Well, let's see here. Let's quickly get to what's going on here, and. Eric's Demystifying Digitizing webinar is coming up March 28th, 2020. In fact, you can actually now buy tickets for that. You can start getting in there. So if you already signed up at ericcampbell.com/demystifying digitizing -webinar, which I think we'll get on the bottom here in just a second. You should have gotten an email with information on where to go to sign up, and we'll get that out there into the public as well soon, so you can sign up for that webinar. And then he will be presenting in Kansas City, debating digitizing, expert answers for the digitizing curious, as well as another seminar called treatments and digitizing techniques for specialty threads. So we will all be out there at DAX.
You know, Aaron, I couldn't help but notice that Jay slid a little Eric's rapper name E-Rich in when he was talking earlier.
Nice.
And Eric comments that never gets old. The whole E-Rich thing.
He loves every bit of that.
Well, Aaron, I've got my complete screen printing business course. I'm going to be in Nashville tomorrow and Sunday. That event, as with all Atlas events, is completely sold out. I'm going to be in Workhorse Products in Phoenix, February 29th. It's leap year, 29th and March 1st. And I'll be back at Atlas Screen in Chicago, March 7th and 8th. At the DAX show in Kansas City next week, I'm going to be doing a seminar called On Being a Great, all caps, on being a great screen printer. It's for screen printers who say, okay, now I'm in business, now what? And that's going to be Saturday, February 22nd. That's going to be from 10:20 to 11:40. Aaron, you and I are going to be, and Eric and Jay, we're all going to be at ThreadX, powered by SGIA here in Scottsdale, February 23rd through 25th. If you're going to be attending that event, we would love to chat with you there. We're going to be doing lots of interviews, that sort of thing. All my upcoming 2020 classes and events can be found at terrycombs.com under the tab tour dates. How about you, Aaron? What's coming up?
Coming up here, February 19th, 2020, here right around the corner, we will be presenting through Our Success Group, which you can find over at oursuccessgroup.com. We kick off phase 2, what we're calling phase 2. Phase 1 was just the 5 keys program, and now we're into phase 2, where there are memberships available to that at oursuccessgroup.com. The very first training is going to be Facebook ads to grow your business. The second one is going to be email marketing with MailChimp. So we're getting very specific. We're going to go walk through step by step how to do these things. And again, over at oursuccessgroup.com, you can sign up for a monthly or annual membership. And we actually have some pretty sweet introductory offers going on both of those things until April 15th. As far as the rest of it goes, I've shared before, so I'll just briefly, I'm heading off on Monday. I leave for Las Vegas to go to the the International Awards and Personalization Expo, and 2 classes on Tuesday, the 18th. First one is Social Media 101, Why and How. And the second one is Digital Marketing, Growing Your Business with Email Marketing. And then I'm pretty excited to be on a sublimation panel there with Jimmy Lamb and Lisa, and I'm going to have to figure out her last name. It's Elston, I think. She's with JDS, so I'm really excited to be part of that panel with those two. I'm honored, honestly, to be thought of in the same regard as those two when it comes to sublimation. So looking forward to that. And then starting in e-commerce, what works and what didn't. It will be my presentation at DAX Kansas City. And then beyond the moon excited about all the things we're going to be able to do, from the panel to getting to hang out. Having a booth there, Terry, this will be a really cool experience for us, because a lot of times you're either in a booth over here, we're running around doing this or that or the other thing. You and I kind of get to hang out there with Eric and everybody else. Hopefully, comes in, and we get to just great minds talk about ideas. So that's
exactly.
That's what we're gonna do. All right. So Decorators Community, booth 405. Actually, I think Decorators Community is officially 403. Or maybe it's 405. 401, 403, 405. We're right in there. come check out all this. How about that?
You'll see us.
Yes, indeed. Well, excellent stuff, Terry. Great job today. And again, if you want to get your customers to love you, learn from Terry about how to sell. He's the master. All right. Well, thanks very much to Jay and Tom for dropping by to share some love as well. So it's been a great day, Terry.
It has indeed. And we also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, and thanks to our sponsor, Impressions Expo.
Indeed. So next week, Terry, as we said, we will be on the road. I start my Terry Combs-like road trip on Monday.
Right.
So we will be at DAX Kansas City live. In fact, probably not only have a program on Friday at some point. I think the panel is going to be our official program on Friday, but I'm sure there'll be lots of other live streaming happening. So Friday and Saturday, just make sure you're tuned in to facebook.com/2regularguys to check all that out. And then we will be at ThreadX and probably try to do a lot of as much live from there as well, plus the recorded content that we're going to be getting there. That will be a show later on down the road too. So really good stuff coming up.
Super excited about that as well. So until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.